This beautiful Sunday morning talking about the Electoral Amendment Bill, but one clause seems to be causing the rancor. One clause seems to be causing the things that happened in the House last week. To some persons, well, free for all, rowdy session, Royal Rumble. Why for some others it is important for democracy. That was the reason why what happened in the House happened. And Nigerians and the global community were like, wow, the main election is very, very important. Talking about Electoral Amendment Bill, 2023 election power play. Some are saying this is a matter of power play. Who gets what, when, and how come 2023. And various pundits of the view that we are having different talks from different angles, from different persons in view of the forthcoming election. Anyway, the impact of all this in 2023, that is what we'll take a look at. Don't forget that an extract here from the northern region says it's still their time to rule. While an extract from the southern region saying due to rotation, though it's not written, it's our turn to rule. Everyone keep laying stake on rulership come 2023. Is it not too early or is it too late? Anyway, my analyst will throw more light on this. With me here in the studio, I have two legal practitioners, a human rights activist, public affairs commentators, both local and international politics. They are both well-grounded. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakmolo and, of course, Barrister Robinson Imade. Gentlemen, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. Appreciate your coming.
Thank you.
And of course, Barrister Robinson just turned +1 last week. Where's my cake?
Congrats, sir.
Where's my
cake?
It's
available. It's available.
Congratulations on your birthday celebration.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let me start off with you, Barrister Robinson Imade. Some call it the show of shame. Others are saying it's important for democracy to thrive in Nigeria. Why to some, they felt so indifferent about it. Before we go to the nitty-gritties of that clause, what do you feel about the free-for-all in the House?
Well, was it just a show of shame? Was it a coup against the Nigerian people? Was it a self-serving activity as far as those legislators who voted against the wishes of the masses are concerned? Was it a rape on democracy? Or could we say it was a coup against the people? The Electoral Amendment Bill, as we saw the proceedings in the Senate, was far more than a show of shame. I dare say that the senators who vehemently went against the will of the people, who subverted the will of the people, took Nigerians for a ride, because the desire of the majority of the people today is that the electronic transmission of election results be put in place. In any case, is it not funny that senators do not know their boundaries? INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, is a product of the Constitution. And of course, one would have expected that the lawmakers will know where to stop. If the bill says, give us legal backing to be able to transmit elections electronically, and you are not able to do that, you leave it at the discretion of INEC as the Constitution provides. Because in the first instance, it is clear that conducting voters register or registration, conducting results, supervising results, are all the exclusive preserves of INEC as far as the Constitution is concerned. INEC also has its own rules, guidelines, that enabled it to use the card reader. If you remember, it was challenged in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, well, we cannot, on the strength of the non-use of card reader, vitiate an election. Even though it is not so entrenched in the Constitution, INEC guidelines allowed it. And so where it is not used, an election cannot be jettisoned, results cannot be jettisoned. So in the same vein, INEC, in my opinion, has the powers, because it has been vested on it by the Constitution, to transmit the election results electronically, except that when problems come, it cannot be defended because it has the free will and the constitutional backing to provide guidelines. But be that as it may, the fact that the people, I dare say the APC senators and other legislators who clamored for electronic voting, who clamored in 2015 for everything electronic, are now the people against electronic transmission of results. It goes to show that there is more than meet the eyes as far as this transmission is concerned. If you ask me, the people in power today have the mind, the will, the intention to subvert the voting of the people.
That's
and
your
so
opinion.
that's my opinion.
Right.
Otherwise, why would anybody in the 21st century, even when smaller countries in Africa are now transmitting results electronically, now vote against it? And you now subject the powers of INEC as provided by the Constitution to the NCC, National Communications Commission, that is under the presidency. In other words, the independence of INEC has been eroded by this simple act and by this affront on the people of Nigeria.
Okay, I will come back to you, Barrister Robinson. Thank you so much for laying a solid foundation for this discourse. Barrister Emmanuel Obapolo, from what you saw, even on the clips rolling right now, last week Nigeria was shaken to his foundation, talking about, you know, the process of electoral amendment bill. So people have so many opinions as regards what happened in the House, both the red and of course the green chamber. For what he said, it goes beyond the show of shame. Do you see power play in all of this?
Yes, and I also see fear.
Fear?
In the minds of the legislatures. I can remember vividly some time ago, the Senate President made a comment. I was one of those who reacted to that comment, where he said, and I quote, that if you don't like our face, vote us out in 2023. Now, that statement is coming back to him and others who thought that they can single-handedly do whatever they want at any point in time to Nigeria and Nigerians. Now, going by the Constitution, from Section 171, from Section 71 to 78 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, makes provision, gives responsibility, duties, and powers to INEC to conduct elections. Now, going by the provision of Section 14, subsection 2A of the 1999 Constitution, we say that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria. Now, going by all of these provisions, so encapsulated by the Constitution, why now is the National Assembly member, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, are so have a special interest on electronic transmission of results? It shows that they are afraid. And we'll see, these men and women are beneficiaries of the electronic transmission of results in 2015, 2019. Today, they are against it because they know that while seated there at the upper chamber and the red carpet chamber, they have not been able to do to the yearnings of Nigeria. They have not done anything, to be sincere, to ensure that Nigerians benefit from their responsibilities as lawmakers. Everything they do it to their own interests. And that's why now, because they are afraid of 2023, they have seen, particularly the ruling party is afraid that by 2023 the table might turn against us. They are now looking for how. I hold no due respect to them in this matter. It's my personal opinion. They are afraid that they will go out by 2023. And that is why they want to see how they can manipulate everything before, during, and after the election in 2023. But what Nigerians are looking at them, if they think that because they are seated there, they have the manipulative skill to so do, to see that they turn everything against Nigerians, let us see how it goes.
But some are saying this is not about manipulation, it's about the numbers. that they have the number. This is what they feel is right. That's why they went for that kind of vote against electronic transmission. That's what they said.
Yes, that's why I said those who benefited from electronic transmission of results are the ones now against it, because they made statements some time ago wherein they said by their leader, the Senate president, that if you don't like our faces, vote us out by 2023. So now the time is coming, it's drawing closer.
All right.
So they are now they've now preempt the mind of Nigerians and say, look, we may not come back here if we don't manipulate. So that's what they want to do.
Anyway, your own opinion, many people differ with your own opinion, saying that may not be the case. Well, he talked about the fear factor. He said the people that voted against electronic transmission of results, they have this phobia. And of course, he talked about the statement credited to the Senate president, saying, if you don't like our faces, vote us out in the next election. Is there fear factor in all of this?
Well, I agree with him to a very large extent. There's fear factor. Otherwise, the same Senate president who said, vote us out if we don't like our faces, has also said in the past that if he has the opportunity, he will amend the constitution to make sure that Buhari comes back again. Is that the kind of person that we should take serious?
Of course, yeah. His own opinion. He has the right to say what I want to say. At
that level of being the number 3 person in the country, one will expect decorum. One will expect that whatever he says, he'll be able to defend. You are saying that in the interest of one man, you will change the constitution of Nigeria against the will of the people. That is aside. It is obvious.
He never said he's going to change it against the will of the people. Please, let's
He said he will change if Buhari wants, and if it comes to him, he will amend the constitution to make him come back again. Is it not against the will of the people? Is that not against the will of the people?
Anyway, since you cannot ascertain that, let's make that comment for now.
I'm sure you know he says so. But it is obvious that those who voted against the electronic transmission of results have rigging in mind. They want to rig the elections. Otherwise, why would anybody in this time and age go against the beautiful submission of ELEC that says that, one, the manual collation of results and the likes is cumbersome and very expensive and poses risk and danger to the ELEC officers. And so let us do this thing electronically to minimize rigging, to ensure that we do not spend so much. And don't forget that the last election has been the most expensive presidential election in the history of Nigeria. It was coming down during the last administration. When it came to the 2019 election, it shut up. And ELEC, being, well, I want to say, irresponsible what he is saying, let us not waste taxpayers' money. We can do this thing cheaper and better by the use of electronic transmission, by electronically transmitting results. And people are saying no. I'm not surprised that people still want us to go back to the time of manual transmission, ballot box snatching, and the others. If many of those people talking today against the transmission results are those who said, for example, that open grazing should be allowed in this time and age, that people should trek from Sokoto to Bayelsa and from Maiduguri to Benin carrying animals. People are going back to the age of cattle roots in this time and age, and so I'm not surprised that they will vote against electronic transmission of results. But let me tell you, it is obvious that what they have in mind is rigging. They know that they have lost touch with the people, they have not underperformed, and so the only way they can survive is to rig elections. And for rigging to be effective, the transmission of results electronically must be defeated. Right. There can be no other reason for this madness called legislation as far as electronic transfer of results is concerned. Okay. Don't forget that it was number 52 on the list. The first 1 to 51 sailed through. This one that was controversial ought not to be, because, okay, let me tell you, maybe you don't know that a few hours to the session of the Senate, they all had dinner with the president.
We'll come to that.
They had dinner with the president.
We'll come to
and
that.
So
we'll
what happened there? Some
we'll
of us know.
We'll come to that. You just hold on now. But you're talking about they want to rig the election. They never said that to Nigerians.
They won't say so. Nobody will say, I'm going to kill you tomorrow and come back to kill you. It is obvious that that's what they have in mind.
Since they did not say it, let's leave it at that, okay? Because they have reasons. We'll come to the reasons later on. They didn't talk about rigging of the election. They're saying that process may not be attainable. They gave reasons. They invited the NCC representative saying many things about hacking. They never mentioned anything about rigging. So let's just leave it at that for now. We want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with the discussion. Don't go anywhere.
TMI. Every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. We're taking a look at the amendment of the electoral bill. Yeah, 23 election power play. It's all that is happening right now. It's all that is going on right now. It's a matter of push and pull. It's a matter of, you know, disagreement in agreeing. Is a matter of also agreeing to disagree. The House seems to be in disarray because of this. They call it Clause 52. I mean, what's so special about that clause that is making Nigerians to have various views and opinions? Mind you, the opinions canvas in the studio is that opinion, all right? Nobody's saying that they say they want to go rig. No, so we have to like pull that down so we will not misquote us or quote us out of context. Join us right now in the studio. He is a vibrant youth, a political analyst, public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Stanley Osahonohodi. Yes, but for sure to call him Osaze, isn't it? Stan, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. Now, you heard his submission. He allegedly said that the reason why they're fighting against this is because maybe, just maybe, they want to rig, but they never mentioned anything about rigging. He talked also about the dinner they had with the president, and after the dinner, there was, you know, time to really vote for this particular clause for the amendment electoral bill. Do you see the dinner having an impact in what they finally voted for or against in the House? Barrister Emmanuel.
Yes, going by previous statement made by the Senate President and also the Deputy Senate President recently. I read where the Deputy Senate President said we didn't go to the House to fight ourselves. And I was one of those who quickly posted and said, you need to fight where you want the good of your people. And you could be silent where it does not affect your people because your people sent you there. Now, out of that, let's look at the function of the Senate or the legislature. Going by the provision of Section 5 of the Constitution, they are there to make laws. Are you getting me, Wilson? But today we see the kind of romance between the legislature and the executive, to my mind, is worrisome. And it makes some of us to be afraid whether these men and women are there to really represent their people. The truth is this: the lawmakers are not there for themselves. They are there for their people because they were voted by the people from their senatorial district and also from their other part of the state, the local government, and as it may be. So they are there single-handedly to represent the people. The wish, the yearning, the cry of the people must be taken seriously. But this present crop of lawmakers are not interested in what happens to the people or what the people are saying. Instead, you see them keep romancing, you see them keep visiting the president, you see them keep telling the president, telling you, just like the Senate president said some time ago, that if it will be possible, you want the president to come back for a third term. And you begin to hear statements that ordinarily, if you subject them to reasoning, they are far from being considered. Far. So their romance with the executive, particularly the presidency, is worrisome, and it gives some of us sleepless nights. We are not saying that they should go there and begin to fight the president. That is not what we are saying. But they should go there and represent the interests of the people, because that is what the Constitution says. But they are not interested in that. They are interested in how they are going to stay at the law-making chamber for decades, how they are going to be there till God knows when. That shouldn't be their interest. If they do well, when they come back, the people will say, look, you have done well, go back there and represent our interests. But they are not interested in that. And that's why you see all the dinner, all the tea party, they be happy. It's reflecting. If not, what is the interest of the National Assembly members with who to conduct election and how to conduct the election? When the Constitution itself gives power to INEC to conduct the election. And now you are telling INEC who is to conduct the election, who is to supervise the election, who is to investigate everything that has to do with the election, that look, your powers are here. We are the owners of the powers and we are giving it to you. And we can also restrain you. We can also put barrier. They are putting barrier to the 2023 election. And the people are saying no. That's why I started by saying that Section 14, subsection 2A, says sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria. And the people are saying no, you cannot make that kind of law. You cannot make that kind of barrier. You cannot make that kind of restriction on INEC. INEC is the one in the field. INEC understand what to do. INEC should be giving. INEC is the owner of the materials. They are the ones that will use the material to conduct the election. The dinner they had with the president has just manifested.
Well, they were all invited.
Yes, they were all invited.
Just come to the president.
Why not? Because they knew their program, you know, wanted this.
According to Nigerians, it was just a harmless dinner.
These men, what they do is that most of the time before they come to the house or their program, they first take it for screening or scrutiny in the presidency. That's what they do. That's why you can hear them saying anything. You see the deputy speaker, the way he reacted, even when those who overwhelmingly voted for the passage of that provision, the man still turned it down. He still turned it down, and they said nothing will happen. So the will of the people is downtrodden. The will of the people is not their concern. Their ultimate concern is what they will eat, what they will drink, what they will wear, where they will stay, the kind of businesses, the kind of cars. All that is just their interest.
All right.
And the truth is that 2023 will speak volume.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo. Stan, you've been listening keenly. You've been sampling their opinions, sampling their points. I believe that you are aware of really transparent the House, both the red and the green chamber, and what Nigerians have been talking about. Generally speaking, what do you feel about this feat?
Yes, first, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me. But the truth of the matter is simple. Now the issue has happened. What is the reactions of Nigerians? Is it just a mere opinion? Now, when you have a National Assembly that ought to have represented your interests, and in the course of exercising that, they have refused to actually represent your interest. Is it not enough for the People's Assembly to come out and say, no, this is not what we sent you? Everybody is using their different opinion in their houses. And we're not supposed to now show that we rejected such act, even when we know that the vote was overwhelming in the House. So to me, I strongly believe that if while we are blaming these politicians, we still blame ourselves as the people who always allow everything to be. I could recall sometime during the Jonathan-led administration when we were even having a few discussions in respect to subsidy removal. The entire country was shut down by protesters. But as we speak today, does it mean that we are using sentiment in addressing problem militating against our country? Does it mean that when somebody becomes a president and that person is close to us, we can allow all this ill activity to prevail or transpire in our society? These are the things we must put into cognizance. Now a problem has been identified. We know that this is the problem. These people refused to follow suit to what the people want. Now they go and are saying, we don't like it, we don't like it, we don't like it. In the comfort of our rooms, let me tell you something. No government, no politician will continue to do what is wrong if the people vehemently resist. But in a situation where the environment becomes so salubrious, you expect the politician to continue, because definitely they know, they will say, don't worry, in 2 weeks they will come. But we should be able to prove to them that we will not come until the result is changed to what is right. So to me, I believe that while we have identified the problem, on our part, we must be ready to stand the test of time. And again, when holding dinners or what with the presidency has been able to show to the entire world, not just Nigeria alone, that they are doing everything humanly possible to work against the interest of the people.
You just can't say that. They say they're working for the people, not against the people.
Let me tell you what. Now, you and I will subscribe to the fact that if an electronic voting system is adopted, it will help to really ensure absolute transparency in the electoral process. We have a classical example in Edo here, and we know what happened. So at least if the federal government refused to implement such, believe you me, on the part of the federal government, they have something to hide. Now, if you have something to hide and you decide to enforce your interest against the collective interest and collective destiny of everyone, it therefore means that you are working against the interest of your own people. Now, what is the need for the dinner? Who could recall, for those of us who have the ability to remember history, it was the same meeting that was almost organized that led to Saraki Senate and the Senate presidency emergence. And we knew what happened as at then. There was a loggerhead between the federal government, the presidency, and the Senate. We know what happened under the Jonathan regime, where you have Tambua, who was not the candidate of the Jonathan regime. You are to the fact that the National Assembly stood firm against the presidency as at then, not against the presidency in totality, but to ensure that the interest of the people prevails. But today, as we speak, we have rubber stamp Senate president.
They may not agree to that. They may say they are not rubber stamp, they are there representing the people.
One thing I will continue to acknowledge is that at the end of this program, you will say all what they say is their personal opinion. What I said now is my opinion. He is a rubber stamp.
Even if it's your opinion, you don't have right to say it's a rubber stamp. According to him, it's working for the people.
I will tell you what, if a Senate president can come out to say, which they can make a president to run in a democratic setting, even if it is a mere joke, even if it's a mere joke or it's just a mere expression of an opinion, it is contrary to what it stands for. Because as Adamu Platten, the man is not talking as his name, he's talking as the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if the Senate President should say that, what is he trying to create? He's creating a sustainable template for we to have, in fact, a monarchical system of government in this country where you're going to remain there forever and ever. Now, go and look at those countries that their president decided to stay and stay and stay. This little statement is the one creating safe haven for them to enforce their egocentric interest. So the truth of the matter is very simple. I want to call on the Nigerian people. You and I, when we notice that issues in the National Assembly, the presidency, whatever, the state, anyway, does not all go well with you, believe you me, it is your collective responsibility to say no. I want to tell you something today. If you are in the Edo state or you stay anywhere in this country, you agree to the fact that police molestation has reduced to the barest minimum. As of today, in the past, the police moves with POS. Hey, you don't do so, they'll give you, you pay. Man, as of today, they are being very careful. Why? Because of the NSAS. Do you know what protests can do? Forget the fact that it was still adjudged by the government. All right. We know. But protests can better address problem affecting the society. So if you are saying in your room, we don't like it, you are only expressing an opinion without enforcement.
Anyway,
this government, what would the Benin call itum or situmeho? There's nothing you would do that this government will listen to you, except on the ground that you march them head to head. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We're not talking about protesting right now, but calm down. So stand, please. I want to tell you, calm down, because it's all about numbers according to the House of Representatives, and of course also the Senate. And they said they are not rubber stamps. Please, let's be guarded. Sorry, they are not rubber stamps.
Sometime in 2011, I was the presiding officer, because then I was in my youth service, presiding officer in Bagwe local government in Kano. Do you know what happened? Bros, believe you me, a child of 7 years votes in the north. But here, registration is going on now. We will be the one to limit every 7 years old.
All right.
So if they are telling you that they have so and so voting population, it is because rat and rabbit, lizard and wokeko is registering on a daily basis.
Well, now you are exaggerating. This is why I put my foot down.
I'm telling you,
rat, lizard cannot register. Stand.
Now, when I say rat and rabbit, you should know that statement.
Whatever, stand.
But I can authoritatively tell you now.
Stand you on air, please. Stand you are on air, please. Let's be guarded. no matter how your emotions are, you must check your emotions, please. All right, check your emotions. Well, we don't have proof of that as 7-year-old voting or not. Let's leave it up. Now, let me come to you.
I have proof.
Stand, please. Stand. Thank you. Since we cannot substantiate it now, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that, Stan. Now, let me come to you, Barrister Robinson Imade. You know, many things are like, you know, going on. For instance, the NCC representative of called upon to throw more light on all this, and they said you just cannot rule out hacking in all of this. In that regard, people have voted against electronic transmission in a way they have a point. What do you have to say about that, hacking of the database?
Well, I want to lay the question to what Stanley just said, but in answering your question, hacking the database by some people is not absolutely impossible. But in spite of the possibility of hacking, there is no member of the National Assembly that does not transmit money, if you like, transfer money electronically to different parts of the world on a daily basis, in spite of the possibility of hacking. There is none of them who would not use the phone to discuss with people around the world on a daily basis. INEC has said, of course, INEC has the prerogative to say, we have the manual collated results, we are transmitting electronically. If it is hacked, the manual will be there. Of course, it happens during the card reader experiment, which has come to stay in Nigeria today. If the card reader does not work, they give you a form to fill, and you still vote. Both votes are counted. Is that not so? And so, if the INEC is allowed to use its discretion as provided by the Constitution, by the way, says that no external person or authority should interfere with the work of INEC. If that is to be, they have also canvassed the fact that, majority of our areas do not have a network. If that is so, the areas with network, why do you refuse them the use of electronic transmission of results? And if there are areas truly that do not have network, why do we not say, okay, for this area, you do it manually? It will give credence still to the process. That's my own on that. It is telling us that we are not moving forward. In fact, elections will come in 2023. Between now and then, are we saying that the much that will go into this manual collation and transmission of results cannot be put into ensuring that there is network in all those other areas? There are phones, Turaya, for example, that works everywhere. Are we saying that Nigeria, in this time and age, with all our affluence, cannot ensure that there is a network all over the country? Even if that is not possible, I'm saying that both can be combined. The INEC rules and guidelines allow that. But talking about what Stanley said, that the people are, if you in my own words, docile, they are not doing anything. The President Jonathan has said that the freedom that Nigerians enjoyed in his time, if it is by the time he leaves, we will know. What is hate speech? Whatever you say against the government of today is interpreted as hate speech. And this is a government that came into limelight through hate speech, if you like.
That's true.
What protest could have been more than occupying Nigeria that we saw in Ojota, where President Muhammadu Buhari, his vice president today, and the likes, including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, held? What names did they not call President Jonathan and his administration? Those were not his speech. Today, because we know his antecedent, where he's coming from, he's trying to reenact Decree 4 and to scuttle the people and ensure that they are emasculated to the extent that free speech will not be allowed, and they are bringing about hate speech. And somebody said, I don't know how to describe that, that people who are convicted of hate speech should have capital punishment, should be sentenced to death for speaking your mind, talking about the people criticizing government. And this is a government today that came to power, that deceived, if you like, my opinion, the people by all the protests and protestations against the administration of the past, and with nebulous and so wonderful promises that have been denied. So I don't know how many people can engage in hate speech as much as El-Rufai, President Buhari, and Tinubu did.
This is where I put my foot down. So please, you're not allowed to call names.
Very good. But we know the practitioners.
They are not here to defend themselves.
I agree, but we all know.
So accuse them of hate speech.
Thank you. We all know what they did. Let's leave Tinubu. We can now say Jabadan of Lagos.
Let's leave those name calling, please, against the rules. You know the rules.
All right, it's okay. But the practitioners of the administration of today all engage massively and ceaselessly in what they term today as hate speech. And so to protest today, okay, let me also say that what happened in the Senate was purely democratic, but shamefully democratic. And so when we are going to protest now against the voting, is their right to vote? We also saw 1 or 2 PDP senators voting. They have only shown to Nigerians where their interest lies. Is your interest in tandem with the interest of the collectivity of the people? Right. Or is your interest in your political party and the selfish agenda? We saw that. Otherwise, the majority voted against the electronic transmission of results. That was good as far as parliamentary procedure is concerned. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that, like I said earlier, it was a vote against the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians.
All right. I will come back to you, Barrister Robinson. The gentlemen, please, I know this topic is like a very sensitive one. No matter what, we must follow the regulations governing the airwaves. Please, I would want us to start throwing comments at names and stuff like that. We should all be guarded, all right? Because they're not here to defend themselves. So I'd like us to please jettison that aspect. Over to you, Barrister Emmanuel Obakolo. Some are saying that it's like, you know, some sets in the country, they are the ones behind all this. They don't want to give up power. After all, some group of persons in the northern extraction saying it is still their turn to rule, according to reports in the print media, that they wouldn't want to let it go. Is it the drag, so to speak, between the northern part of the country and some other part of the country about 2023? Is that what is playing out itself in the green and, of course, red chamber?
Yes, that is what is being played out. And looking at this administration and their style of governance is what I would describe as all powers seized.
All powers seized?
Seized, yes. The powers of the people have been seized. And they are ready to use it for themselves, to ensure that everything they do is to their own benefit. Just like my learned senior said, if former President Goodluck Jonathan had acted the way they are acting now, would they have got into power? I don't know why. They should know that power is transient. Power belongs to God. God is the owner of all powers. So the position they occupy today is not by their making. So for some group of persons to now say, look, we are the ones that will continue to, since independence, let's go back to memory, since independence, somebody was saying, you see, the reason why a group of persons in Nigeria are now reacting is because they've been neglected. I ask one simple question. From 1960 to date, how many Southerners have ruled this country? How many Northerners have ruled this country? So if somebody did harm to that group of people and the reason why they are into crime now, then it is their own brothers. They should face their people. So for them to come out to say, look, we are going to continue by 2023, that is just not possible. Power should come to the South. And that's why I like the method adopted by the 17 Southern governors. And I hope and believe that they stand their ground, that look, power must come to the South come 2023. Because they've been ruling and ruling through other means, and they feel that the nation belongs to them. That is not correct. So, by 2023, they should agree just now that power must come to the South. I listened to this Dr. Hakim Baba, of the Secretary of Northern Elders Forum, where he said that they themselves, they want the power to come to the South. But because some of all these people are sponsoring some group, they are coming out to counter and say all manner of things they want to say. look, the one united North. I always say, when I'm given the opportunity, there is no more one united North. This administration has killed, if there was a one united North, it has killed it. So for them to be coming out because they now gang up, they now conspired against the people of Nigeria. They look for some group of persons, some group of charlatans, and begin to sponsor them to say, go on air, go to every platform and begin to ensure that this is what and what will happen. That is not the position just now. They should know that the people of Nigeria are interested in the development of this country. If their interest is to see that this country develop, then that will be better. And I do not think that is their interest just now, because with the way they are going, see the way the country is being run, see the suffering all over, telling on both the rich and the poor. Yet some persons are saying nothing is happening. We will keep like that. Nigeria once upon a time the giant of Africa. Today, can we boldly say that Nigeria is the giant of Africa? Nigeria once upon a time led ECOMOG in the whole of West Africa to ensure that there is peace. Can Nigeria do that when Nigeria is even battling with our own insecurity? But they are interested in clinging onto power till thy kingdom come. They should know that power belongs to God.
Stan?
Yes. The issue we're having is that the government of the day wants to take over power at all cost. People from one particular region wants to remain in power at all cost. I have said this before, I'm going to repeat it again. Why citizens are crying for a better future, looking for road, lights, water, and adequate environmental infrastructure. Politicians don't care about providing all this for the people. They mainly concern themselves with the next elections. They don't look at the future. That is why when you see a politician running up on elections in 2020 or 2019, he will say, if you try what you try in 2019, in 2023, I will die with you. But the politician never knew if he's going to live to 2023. Who is fighting for the next elections. The question is, what has been achieved since the advent of this administration to date? What was the basic promises that was made from the initial stage, and what are we having today? Is the dollar now $1 not equal to €1? Is the price of PMS not equal to 40 naira per liter? Do we have massive railway infrastructure across the country? What about the oil sector? The refinery that ought to have been working by now, have they even started carrying out feasibility study to see how the refinery will function? All these are the bogus promises made by these administrations from the initial stage. Have they been able to achieve any one? The answer is no. They are not busy talking about what will happen in 2023. The question is, how many persons will get to 2023 that is still in existence today? Nobody knows tomorrow. It is applicable to both the rich and poor. The poor can be rich and the rich can be poor. Don't say nobody knows tomorrow and leave it for the poor alone. For those of you who have the opportunity to do what is right and you refuse to do it, time is coming, you will be relegated to the background. Now, instead of us to begin to check the basic problem that we have in this country, where you ask a sitting president, what is this? He will be saying the other one. There will be no correlation between the question you ask and the answer given. And that's to tell you, if you could recall that the wife of the president came out in the past that my husband's administration has been hijacked, which simply means that a superficial flag is somewhere where people are executing behind the scene and beyond what is normal. So I think for now, I still believe that the only panacea to fix this country is for the Nigerian people to wake up. My grandfather, my great-grandfather requested for light, roads, and water from government and some infrastructure. As we speak, my great-grandfather's son requested, they didn't give. My father's father requested, they didn't give. I have requested. They have not given, even my son.
Your children request.
Today, nothing to show. But on a daily basis, we hear in the National Assembly, most $1 million have been allocated for this. As we speak today, both the federal government on a daily basis make provision into the Ministry of Water Resources. Do you have water in your house? But on a daily basis, every year,
budget goes into this place? Are they telling us that it is designed for only recurrent expenditure? Now Nigerian people sit in the comfort of their room to begin to shout, I don't like him, I don't like him, I don't like him. You don't like him, but you've refused to come out to do what is right. I am saying this because I am from the human rights perspective. I started from there. Forget the fact that now I am into politics as well. But I said it before now when we were in this media together. In fact, it was this invited guest that was on the media. I said it. I said, there is no way I can destroy my own future because I want to protect other persons. I will beg you to please keep calm. That is the kind of person I am. So when it is expedient for us to say the way it is, let us say it. And if it is expedient for us to go into the street to right the wrong, it is very important. Now, as we speak today, you want to be like the United States of America. You want to be like Britain. These persons, when there are gross injustice in their country, they come out to fight it to the end. Some may even be pepper sprayed, some can be shot. But as we speak today, that issue will be addressed in their country. Right. Now, what about the gross injustice that we have today in Nigeria? I want to use myself as a case study. When I rounded up my national diploma program in Auchi Polytechnic, and I said, let me go to FUTMINA to read my course, Urban and Regional Planning. On getting to FUTMINA, I went to go and meet the HOD. I came with my results, very, very flashy. They were just looking at me. Now, a lecturer came to submit results to the HOD. The HOD checked the result. The fail was too much. And the HOD now asked, what happened? He said, I taught them. He said, did you use Hausa language to teach them? They said, no. And they said, you have to use that to teach them so that they can pass very well. Do you know that at the end of the day, regardless of what I provided, I was not given opportunity to gain an admission into that school? What about when, this is my own personal experience. Now let's look at the holistic experience that affects all Nigeria. It is not the same mechanism used to bring people into educational system in the South that is used in the North. They reduce it to the barest minimum. What we call catchment area.
All right.
As we speak today, how many persons in this country now have equal access with those in the other divide?
Okay.
Today, the Nigerian economy in the South is not the same Nigerian economy in the North. If a cup of milk is 130 here, know that it is 18 naira in the North.
All right, I'll come back to you, sir.
Okay.
All right, please,
you're always coming back to me whenever you notice that I'm coming back.
I'll come back.
I'm not right, and you know me. So the truth of the matter is simple. Before you come back to me, let me come back to you immediately. The truth of the matter is simple. This injustice, if we allow it to continue in this country, it will be very clear and obvious, because it's already clear, but it's not obvious yet, that we are all second-class citizens in this country. If Abdullahi goes to state CID, even with stabbing knife, they will say, "Oh, I greet you, Abdul." They will greet him. But let Osako Nobody go with one little kitchen knife and will be arrested.
All right.
Is that not enough reason to say that this country is built on injustice? Go and look at military men standing with bandits in the north.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Stan.
Can you do that in the south?
Thank you, Stan. I will come back to you. I'll say it again. I will come back to you. Calm down. Calm down, Stan.
Thank you.
Calm down, Stan.
Yes.
Wow, quite interesting. Anyway, people will not agree with that comment you made that we are second-class citizens because we are all Nigerians. We are all Nigerians.
Can you say anything? A country that can limit a particular region also rule.
Still talking about the electoral amendment bill. Let's come up to the electoral amendment bill because it's a case of push and pull. But according to the papers, INEC said, according to the paper, which paper? That will be very, very specific. So that nobody will be like, Wilson, where are you reading from? Let's go to the Daily Post. Yeah, from what they said, INEC said it is possible to electronically transmit results. That is what they said. I took it in one of the headlines. It is possible to take it on. It is possible for it to be done. If INEC says yes as against what the NCC representative talked about hacking, where do you think the House should really have a rethink and realign their thought pattern? Barrister Robinson.
Well, what the Senate has done is void ab initio. The Senate has no business with the functionality of INEC. And so it's not going to stand. Definitely, that position will not stand. if INEC has said, and they canvassed it, they didn't just say it, that they want to transmit results electronically, definitely that's what's going to be at the end of the day. It's a way of engaging Nigerians again to be able to do some other things. We have one issue after the other. INEC's position is what is and is what will be. But having said so, I want to also say that the press, Wilson, is also not helping matters. You talked about a group of traders, a group of funny-looking people. I saw them in my screen, talking about we need another 4 years to balance equation. What equation are they balancing? If I listen to them well, and I'm sure I did, they said the Hausas, the Northerners are 120 million people. And the Fulanis are 40 million people. That tells me that the Fulanis are not Northerners. You want me to take those people serious? And they now said, if you add the 120 million Northerners to the 40 million Fulanis, that's 160. And so, if you now take that from the 210 million population of Nigeria, you have 70. The arithmetic does not add. There is no sense in what they say. And every aspect, every segment of the press is give them credence. Those are people that should be ignored. Traders. He mentioned about the chairman or secretary of the Northern Elders Forum talking. And these charlatans are also talking, and you are giving credence to them. Those that cannot add 40 plus to 20 and 70. You add those three figures and you say it's 210. You say Northerners are 120 million. If you now add Fulanis, where are the Fulanis? Are they Southerners? Or, of course, are they Fulanis from other parts of West Africa? Those are people you give credence and make us talk about here. I don't want to talk about that, but let me say this, that the Constitution provides that INEC has the powers to organize, to supervise, and to bring about results using whatever mechanism they want to use. Is the next position in this problem is give credence to electronic transmission of results. And the senators, not knowing what to do, are messing it up. They cannot direct INEC because the Constitution says no person and no authority should interfere with the workings of INEC. The worst that will happen if INEC knows its onions, and I think they do, or maybe all of this is to give credence to INEC. We quarrel with the denial of the existence of what they call it, the cyber collation. No, where the INEC said they didn't have, and the PDP said they had at the time. Okay, so this one they are bringing about is just for Nigerians to now sympathize with INEC and see INEC as a credible body. Certainly, I am sure that the elections will be transmitted electronically. Because what the Senate has done is against the Constitution, unconstitutional, and of course, it is void. It will be voided. Let it go to court. All right. If it goes to court, of course, the Senate will be shamed. Okay. They have no shame in any case. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's all a way of, it's an organized, orchestrated entity, platform to give credence to the current INEC. It is not to say that this INEC can guarantee free, fair, and credible elections. But if they now win this battle of we must transmit electronically, Nigerians will sympathize with them. Right. And so when they now come in their true colors, we will have nothing to say. It's not the same INEC you said was good. They have a way of planning to ensure that they have their way. I'm not sure that the APC intends that the elections of 2023 should not be transmitted electronically.
All right, now that is the nation newspaper. You saw it on air. We have capacity for electronic transmission of results according to INEC. Go to the nation newspaper, you get to see it. Yeah, that is it. You read through to get to know what they talked about. Now, he mentioned some extract in the northern part of the country saying they should retain power from the calculation they gave this tribe, that tribe. Is it all about tribe or all about Nigeria? And Bro Osama talked about also regional, you know, sharing of power. You understand? Talking about it's time for this region to rule. According to this set of persons, it is not yet time for this region to relinquish power to other regions. Is that why all this is happening in the house?
They are attention seekers. They just want to get attention. And because their sponsors have ensured that, look, let's raise some robots to go there on our behalf and speak so that they can seek attention, then divert the attention of Nigerians from reality. Even the National Assembly, they are just mere attention seekers. They are not there. We have said it all year. They are not there to represent the interests of Nigeria.
You cannot say that they are there to represent the people of the people.
Mr. Wilson,
they are not attention seekers.
Wilson,
please, let's be guarded.
In 21st, what are they representing?
The people, according to reports.
Reports.
According to their job specification.
What is the function? That's
people.
why I started by quoting the Constitution. What is the function of the legislature? Are they carrying out their function? They are not. With regards to meeting the yearnings, aspiration of Nigerians, they are not. The worst Senate, the worst National Assembly is this crop of National Assembly members.
This is where I put my foot down.
Yes.
You have no right to judge them. Even if it's your opinion, you cannot say they are the worst. Because according to some persons, they are the best of the best. So please, let's be guarded.
Okay. Wilson.
Yeah.
Before now, have we had a National Assembly that romances with the executive like this, the way these ones go about it? Have we had it in this country? We saw when Saraki was there as the Senate president, they said, oh, it was because Saraki was there. That's why the president cannot function. Saraki has left now. We don't have a Saraki there any longer. What is happening now? So we now have a Senate president who is now the spokesman of the president.
He never said he's the spokesman of the president. He never said that.
See, if Nigeria is to be a sane society, people like that Senate president should not go back to that National Assembly.
Well, it depends on the people. It depends on the people from his constituency.
And that's why they are not sponsoring robots. Charlatans. They look for charlatans. People who don't have any business to do. And begin to give them one little thing and say, you just go and be talking. Just talk. Just divert the attention of these people from our business. We are interested in what they are doing at the National Assembly. They cannot divert, they cannot deviate our attention. And that is why you see when a group of people will just come and tell you, look, we are the owners of Nigeria, going by the arithmetic they brought up, we are 120 million. How did they arrive at that number, that figure? How did they arrive at it? Is there any census to prove that that has been done? For how long has Nigeria conducted census? And yet, they are not even interested in that. They are just sitting there because they give birth to children, 20 football team, basketball team. They just say, oh, now let us just sum up together and come on air and begin to say whatever we like. And the press will not give them attention. You know, I'm always on the throat of the press. Because the press is part of the problem we have today in Nigeria. Let us say it the way it is. And that is why when these people, they feel that at any time, they can just beckon on the press. Yo, press, come and hear something. And everybody will give them attention. Well, the attention seekers.
Do you know you're talking to a press man?
Yes!
And you're blaming
I'm talking to you. I'm talking
Can
to
you imagine that?
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
Is part, that's why Wilson, the truth is this. If Nigeria wants to go forward in this 21st century, we should learn to say things the way they are.
All right.
We should give right name to things the way they are.
All right.
If not, we will keep hearing some group of people who just come out from somewhere and tell you, look, give us attention.
Okay. All right. Well, Stan, I know you have so much to say. We want to go for a break. When we return, we're going to conclude the discussion. Talking about extractions from various parts of the country. And the northern extraction saying they don't want to relinquish power because they have some other term to go, while the southern extraction are saying it is our turn right now to rule, zone this stuff even to the presidency. And here we have the Electoral Amendment Bill, Clause 52, causing all this palaver. On one hand, NCC said, beware of hacking. On the other hand, INEC said we can transmit results electronically. Which way do you think Nigerians will go? We'll be right back after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
And we're about commencing our descent on this morning on ITV. We are taking a look at the Electoral Amendment Bill 2023 elections power play. We'll be talking about it at length. We're still doing on 8, but right now we have to draw the curtains on today's edition of TMI, but not after my analysts share their thoughts and opinions on the concluded part of this discussion. Stan, I wanted to come to you before we went on that break. We have 3 stands right now. Though the House was divided at plenary, and of course, due to the leadership of the House, the vote went against, despite the walkout staged by the PDP. And of course, an NCC rep was invited, talking about their head. He said, yes, it's possible, but you cannot rule out hacking. For that reason, maybe they should just jettison the electronic transmission of results. And of course, the INEC head, Jaga, said, look, INEC can do it. You saw it on the Nation's newspaper and some other various dailies. Now, putting these 3 together, what do you think should be done?
Let me first of all say something before I go to that particular area.
Yeah.
Somebody, my leader here, said that this is the most failed Senate or National Assembly that has ever existed.
And I'll tell you that many will differ with that. Because to some persons, they are the best of the best. They've succeeded.
Right now, to some person, let's say you are one of those persons who said they are one of the best. Good. Now, it was glaring, broad daylight, when the overwhelming voice supported led the electronic transmission committee said, no, we will not allow it. How best will you not defend failure? Is that not an evidence? Thank God we've been able to explain that. I believe even if you want to stand now, you don't have anything to say respect to that. Let's go to the next part of it. Now, when you talk about hacking, as we speak today, 90% of our banking activities is now online. With my app, I can transfer any amount of money to you. With your app, you can transfer to me. The National Assembly members, including the presidency and everybody, does the same transfer. Money is a resource that everyone wants to protect. So that resources that you didn't spend must not leave your account as a result of hacking. Yet, despite this hacking, we allow these transactions to continue on a daily basis. But when it now got to the time of doing it to satisfy the overall interest of the people, a superficial cooked NCC representative came to say, this and this and this will happen.
Please don't call him superficial cooked, please. Okay, what's your description?
Okay, I want to tell you why I said so.
Even if you say so, it's derogatory. We don't allow that.
Okay, absolutely.
All right.
In fact, I withdraw it.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. I want to manipulate. I must put all mechanisms in place to ensure that I justifies my illegality. Now, somebody came from an umpire that have the capacity to say, if the person releases an information, it is enough to threaten everyone to say, it is true, let us not accept. So they needed somebody to come from NCC to come and speak. The person in charge said, according to the Nation newspaper, we have the capacity to do the needful. It has been test-run in the past. Edo is a classical example. We can replicate this in the entire 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We could recall in the past, during the Jonathan administration, election was postponed for 8 weeks. Is it not 8 or before weeks? Yes, 8 weeks. For there to be able to clear the Bono houses so that elections would take place in that area. At the end of the day, there was overwhelming voting. So those excuses is because of the fact that the All Progressive Congress, which I belongs to in the past, and I'm not saying this because of the fact that I want to lambast them politically. No, I'm saying this because we know as at then, and we said it publicly, that the All Progressive Congress, under the tutelage of the Buhari, has not performed. What are the bases for this statement? We know the campaigns. We know the promises they made. As we speak, Nigeria has witnessed the most expensive dollar-naira regime in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as against promise made of $1 to $1. Nigeria has witnessed the highest increase in the price of PMS, as against 1 liter 40-45 naira. School feeding for our children in school Nigeria has witnessed the highest level of starvation under this era in our schools. But as we speak, the government continues to talk on NTA that we are feeding children, but we have not seen a single children being fed. 5,000 naira to unemployed citizens of this country. As we speak, nothing to show for it. But on a daily basis, this government wants to do everything humanly possible to change the mechanism that will be used to oust them from office, because they know if the election is adjourned on the basis of performance, they might not have 3 votes. That is the reason why you are seeing these modalities being put in place to ensure that at the end of the day, the will of the people never prevails. Now, to me, I do not believe that the PDP walked out from the National Assembly. I believe that some senators refused to agree. Let's forget about the party line and say it the way it is. Whether you are a PDP, whether you are APC, every sane person and in a Senate claim will agree to the fact that an electronic voting will help in no small way to address the electoral malpractices and other activities we have in our political system.
All right, thank you, Stan. Yeah, Anchor, please.
Beyond that, I think it is not time. I still continue to reinvigorate this fact that the Nigerian youth that Osakwinokwo belongs to, let us speak. See, in the comfort of your room, as low as 10,000, 15,000, you can as well, even if you cannot address the television, you can speak through radio. You should be able to come and gather yourself in a group. I didn't say gather yourself into a militia. I said gather yourself in a group, release the statement, call on your fellow youth. If peradventure, we don't need the whole 36 states to rise. If 2 states will say no, the federal government will change by force.
Thank you.
So I think this is the right thing to do. Let us not sit in our room to say, oh, you see what they do now, you see what they do now. But you are relaxing on a daily basis. Buying food today, we witness the most hyper galloping inflation in the country. The highest. You see, in Nigeria today, if you eat chicken, your fellow man will say, this boy just deflates. Chicken that is supposed to be normal. It is not so. You cannot eat anything. For you to eat 3 times a day in this country, believe me, now God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stan.
No job, nothing.
Thank you, Stan.
Talking about elections.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you so much, Stan. Mr. Robinson, your last line of this discussion, please. Which way? We have 3 stands right now of the tripod. The National Assembly is a huge no. Why to NCC? Yes, but beware of hacking. But INEC says it can be done.
I've said again and again today that it is the prerogative of INEC, it's the duties of INEC to organize results, plan elections, and carry out every aspect of voting. That is entrenched in the Constitution. The NCC is not a constitutional organ. It is not known to the Constitution. It's an appendage of the presidency. And the Constitution says nobody or any external authority should interfere with the work of INEC for so long as they are working within their frame. I said earlier, too, that all of this is planned to ensure that INEC has some credibility. Because I believe that ultimately we are all going to come here again to lambast INEC over the conduct of the 2023 elections. In the meantime, they are bringing this about to say, for us to say, we'll be right to say, look, it's INEC's position. INEC should be allowed to do his work. NCC is not supposed to come in. National Assembly, you are wrong with what you have done. National Assembly is going to accept that it made an error. NCC is going to withdraw. INEC will have its way. Everybody will clap. And in clapping for INEC, we should be preparing for the worst, because INEC may not, as I see it by its composition, give us free, fair, and credible elections come 2023.
Well, they say they will do that. They say they can do that. They will do that.
They will not do it. I pray they do it. I want INEC to do it. At the end of the day, electronic transmission of results will come to be.
Right.
But INEC would have saved its face from previous failures we will all be clapping for INEC before the elections. I hope that clapping will be sustained after the election.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, Barrister Manawapolo, you're going to have the last line on this discussion because our time is up. Take a look at the time is up. Barrister.
The National Assembly, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and SEC are only acting a script.
A script?
Yes. By 2023, they will unveil their script. That's what I have to say.
All right, gentlemen, our time is up. Stan, what? Why that look? Time is up. I really appreciate a wonderful analysis. For almost an hour plus, we're talking about this extensively, digging deep into what really transpired in the House. The nitty-gritties, the intricacies of what Nigerians are really seeing and what they are doing about all of this. But don't forget that also Nigeria is our own. 3 bodies, 3 different statements, 3 different comments. But populists are saying, give us electronic transmission of these votes. The Senate, House of Rep, despite protests, they're saying, we just can't give it to you. Would there be a change of heart? Would there be a change of mind? We don't know. Ours is to report back to you. Don't forget our guest's opinion entirely theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV, but they did their best possible to make sure they follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Gentlemen, appreciate all of you once more. From all of us in the studio, we're saying have a wonderful Sunday. Bye for now.